Today we're going to look at how to find an unknown side in a right angle triangle if you're given two other sides. In order to do that, we're going to use something called the Pythagorean Theorem. And this states that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now that's just a fancy way of saying, literally, if I were to take a square and put it on one side of the triangle, take another square and put it on the other side of the triangle, if I were to take my two squares and add them up, I'd literally get a square this size. So that's really what the Pythagorean theorem means, but how do we use it? Alright, first of all, it's important to know which letter, which side is A, which side is B, and which side is C. So here in the corner of our triangle, we have a right angle marker. The side across from that is called the hypotenuse of the triangle. So the longest side, which is across from the right angle, is called the hypotenuse. This is what we're going to use as our C. As far as A and B are concerned, it doesn't matter, your personal preference. So our two shorter sides are A and B, whichever one you prefer. So now we have A, B, and C. Just to practice this a tiny bit, just know that if I took my triangle and I shifted it in orientation, don't let that mess with you. The right angle is here, which means that in this case, our hypotenuse would be at the bottom across from the right angle. So that would be our C, that would be our A, and that would be our B. Okay, so now that we know that, it's time to move on to how do we actually use the Pythagorean theorem. So now we have a triangle and we're being asked to find x, which in this case is across from a right angle triangle. Therefore, that's our hypotenuse, otherwise known as C. We can call 9 and 5 A and B, doesn't matter which is which. And now we're ready to plug into our Pythagorean theorem that states that a squared plus b squared will give us c squared. We can plug directly into that, so we have 9 squared plus 5 squared will give us x squared. 81 plus 25 will give us x squared. Once you add up your 81 and your 25, we'll get 106. That gives us x squared. And x is the square root of 106. At this point, we can leave the answer as is, or we can look for a simplification in radical form, or we can just find the actual square root of 106 in our calculator and round your answer appropriately. So I would say that my answer is approximately 10.3. It is, however, important to note that you won't always be asked for the hypotenuse of your triangle. Sometimes you could be asked for another random leg. So in this case, our right angle is here, which means that our hypotenuse, or C, is given. It's 17. So our A and B are x and 14. Now, the formula is still the same, but things may happen just a slightly bit different. Alright, so a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Still the same. Alright, so our a in this case is x squared. As I was just saying, okay, our a in this case is x. So x squared plus 14 squared is equal to 17 squared. It's important that you set it up this way, or otherwise you'll get this side to be longer than your hypotenuse, which is not possible. So now we have that x squared. If we take 14 squared away from both sides, we get that x squared is equal to 17 squared minus 14 squared. Again, note that it's not plus, it's a minus. So x squared is equal to, if you do that in your calculator, 17 squared minus 14 squared should give you 93. So x squared is 93. In order to figure out what x is, of course, you have to find the square root of that. Again, you could leave your answer in square root form, or if required, plug it into your calculator and get an approximation that x is approximately equal to 9, hold on, is approximately equal to 9.64. Finally, I wanted to show you that Pythagorean theorem works on more complex problems. It works on 3D problems. It works anywhere that you see a right angle triangle. So we're just going to set this up today. We're not going to actually do it because it will require work from other topics. But I just want you to see that this will work regardless of what type of right angle triangle we're looking at. So we have, again, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And in this case, since our right angle is here, or c is 3x plus 4. And our a and b can be over here. So in this case, x squared, x squared plus, we have here 31 minus x squared, because that's our b, 31 minus x is our b, is equal to, and we can put this in parentheses, 3x plus 4 squared. So that's the setup there. In order to do this, you'll have to have skills in quadratic functions and expanding quadratic functions. You'll have to do FOIL, all the stuff that we're not going to cover in this video. But you're going to have to FOIL and factor and all kinds of good stuff there. So, because that touches on another topic, I'll stop here, but just in case you were curious, when you're done with this, we should get that x is exactly equal to 7.